Alright, welcome back everybody. This is what we're working on today. It's a 2009 Yamaha Grizzly 700. We're going to be putting axles all the way around and brakes, and then we have two tie rods for the front. Now the reason it is the axle broke, if you can see there, and bent the heck out of the tie rod. See if you can see that here. See how it bows in there? You can see it. So that's what we're going to be replacing on this today. All four of those, and doing a few other things. So we're going to bring you along, and hopefully help somebody, if they're doing the same thing, give them a little insight of what it takes to get it to. So further ado, we're going to get started and going on this. We'll get these tires off. 4 bolts, everybody knows that, right? We'll get the tires off. We're going to get her going. So I'll bring you back up when we get that all ready to start tearing into it. Alright, now we're starting on here. We took the tires off. Now to get that off the bolt, you got to punch this little mold over here to keep it from coming off. So you need to try to do it your best you can to straighten that out. And this is the same way all the way around. Then, let's see what I did with my right over here. What you're going to use is a 27 socket, 27 millimeter. Get you an impact. Zip that off. There you go. And that's how it's going to go all the way around. You just do the same thing all the way around to get that nut off there, which we got new ones coming on the new axle, so we ain't going to have to worry about it. But then the next thing we're going to do on this is we got the brake caliper to take off, and that'll be a 10 millimeter. 12 millimeter. There he is. So we'll show you that, taking that off. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch around to the other side, and we'll go a little farther because that's the beat up side. That's the guy, and I'll show you here. I'll just bring you over there now. Let's go over here. There. I think that thing was steering weird. Look at that, how that got bent. That axle broke and just bent that. Didn't take much at all. Okay, now we're over here. We're going to do the same thing to get this nut off of here. And when we get that off, I'll bring you back on. So you see here, we're going to need definitely, let me get you over here, hope I don't make you sick. This bearing is shot. We're going to pull that off. You can see that there. That bearing is shot. So we're going to go ahead and replace both of them. Oh boy, that sounds awful. So we're going to replace both sides. He's got both of them. We'll go ahead and replace them. And so that just, as I said, that just pulls off. We got this off already. So now next thing we got to do is we got to pull this off here. There's a bolt here and a bolt here, and then this for the tie rod. There's one over here for the tie rod. We'll take that off and to get in there. First of all, you got those little keys we got to take off first. So, all right. Well, I'll pull you back on when we get that going. All right. When we get there, we took this piece out here. You know, these kind of keep come out of here. This top one's a 17 millimeter. To pull it out, to get that off. And I still have the tie rod here, but we got 17 millimeter here to pull that off. Then the bottom one's a 19 millimeter. And we'll do the same with it. Pull it off like that. Loosen that up. And then we'll take this off over here. Now I'll have to figure out what that is. I think it's a 14 on the tie rod, so we'll bring you back. So over here, this is a 17 to take this off. You can get your wrench or a socket and pull that off. Pull the cotter key first, and then number 17 will take that off. Get that off of there. And that should, sometimes you have to beat them. Let me show you Hope I don't make you sick here. Let me get my hammer. Sometimes you got to hit the side of it. It'll help make it pop it up. Oop. Bumped you. See here, hit the side. Should pop it up. There it is. Comes off. So that's one way to get that off. The other should just pull up. Alright, now it's time to remove these. You give this a fork. You can hit it like I did the other one. There, see it popped it loose? You can do that, or you can use a fork. But if the popping does, I like the hitting like that because it's less invasive. That fork can damage stuff. So there we go. We got that off. Looking ugly, huh? Yeah, nasty. That's a bad day there. So that just pops out. This is the bearing that we're going to replace. So it's got a clip right there as you see it. That's got to come out. We'll tap this thing out, put the new bearing in, and I'll bring you along for that too. Let me get set up. All right, now we got to get this snap ring out of there. You might want to use this. All right, to get that snap ring out, there's a little WD-40 on there. Had to take a nail. You got to kind of tap this out. Sometimes it's really tough. Tap it out, loosen it up, and then you can get these on there. And most of the time, I have to have help. It seems like I don't know if mine are not big enough or I don't something. It seems like
if you need a hand.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like sometimes I need an extra hand here with the tighten those up. I gotta pry this out as I go. Screwdriver work better. Smaller screwdriver work better for it. Now probably if I had the right thing, I wouldn't have to worry about it. But I get by, so it works. See, pry that back like that. So let's see here. Got to pry that out. It takes a little bit. I might need to get two of them on the wheel. See how I worked it out? Because these things get so cruded in there, I tell you, they don't like to come out easy. Now sometimes what I'll do is I'll grab a pair of vice grips. I don't have this tied to my bench very good. Then you can kind of pull it out like that. See that? There we go. See that? It takes a little bit, but you can get her out without the proper tools. Now what we need is to beat that out of there. So what I do is get a socket. Grab my sockets, find one that fits it just right. Now if you have a bearing driving tool, great, use it. But I don't have all those nice gadgets yet. I don't mean in the near future I might get them, I don't know. But, okay, let's see how this thing's going to come out. Looks pretty loose. There, it's just coming. Alright, so let me get a bigger hammer. I don't have to wail on it too much. Oh, there goes the bear. There goes the bear. Got my finger. All right, there it is. All cleaned up. And I got bearings everywhere. So, now all you do, we do the reverse. There you go, thank you. We do the reverse and put her back in there. Thing's tilting on me. So I'll bring it back in. I'll get it all set up. I gotta clean it up. All right. Well, I put some lithium grease, or you can use oil in here and put it on here. It makes a difference. Helps it slide in a little easier. So then you want to get her started. I need something different here. Let's use this one. Just tap it easy. Now if you had a press, it'd be great. A press would work really good right now, but I don't have a press, so this is the way we do. Trying to keep it straight here. So you kind of get the point. We just, whoops, kind of moved on you there. Sorry about that. So you just tap her down. And sometimes I get a flat, and there's something flat. You can use that and help. There it is. Yep. Hey, it went in there. Real easy. Now, since I don't have a socket that's going to work on that, I will be having to tap it down a little farther. So you can, if you're careful, you tap this down like this, a little bit at a time, and you see her there, all the way down. So you can reveal where this goes. This here. And this got kind of bent out of the way, so I have to push it back, but I'm going to clean this up on the wire wheel, and then we'll put her back in there. And it looks like it's got enough groove, it'll work. So I'll bring it back on to get that taken care of.
I thought it was pretty cool, too, how
hold
you can just...
Alright, here we are. We got her back in there. Got her tapped down in there like I showed you. Now I got this ring cleaned up and bent back where it needs to be. And we'll just pop her in there. Like that. Now what you want to do is you want to come back and tap that ring down. See that? Make sure you tap that ring down that it's in the spot. Because sometimes it might not go down, but make sure it's in the spot. Well, there you go. That's how we replace it. The bearing. Brand new bearing. This is on an 07 Grizzly. So we'll show you putting it all back together here in just a bit. Now we're changing out. You see where it's at? You can kind of see it in there. We pulled out the old tie rod. And it's pretty explanatory. You just take that bolt off. Now install a new one. It might try to spin on you when you tighten it. So if you tap it up like this with a hammer, and then get your 17 wrench and start tightening it up. And it should grab it, and you should be able to tighten it up. Till it all spins on you, right? There it is. So tighten her up, it'll stop. It's tightening up. Get her nice and tight so it don't go nowhere. There we go. Alright, we got that on back on there. Now we'll have to get a cotter key to put on that. So I'll get that and we'll come back. Okay. There we go, cotter key. Put her up in there. Let me turn it back my way. Oop, too far, I can't see it now. We'll put the cotter key in there, and then you just bend it over. One goes one way, one goes the other way. That way that ain't coming out of there. Alright, now what we're going to do, let me pull you back out. Wrong way. Okay, now we're going to be putting the hub back on, and make sure it's upright, right? Make sure it's straight. We got her here. You got this up here. You might want to check these at that time to make sure these are good. These ball joints are good. Then you might need to replace it. So put the bottom one in first. Put your top one in. There. Get my head out of the way. We got the big one goes on the bottom, big bolt. And the small one goes on the top, which you can't change them the other way. It won't work. And you push this down, put the top bolt on. Not bolt, nut. So push it down and then tighten it down as far as you can with your fingers. And it'll do the same thing as the tie rod did. It'll seat itself and it should not spin. If for some reason you do spin, you might need to tap it down with the hammer. Tap it down with the hammer to get it in there to be able to close it up. Now let me grab my press the 7. Find our 19. Is it over here?
Socket, is that it laying by itself?
There it is. There, 19 for the bottom, 19 millimeters for the bottom. And sometimes if you can't get it, if it's spinning on you, sometimes you can use an impact to try to zip it on there faster. Like this one's starting to spin. Let's try the top. Okay, I got the top to hold. It's lined up. There we go. Now we're going to go here. And this one's wanting to be a little more of a pain. So let's see if we can tap it down a little bit. So I'll seat that in there and hopefully hold. Now another trick we can do is we'll put a little pressure on it. Sometimes it'll keep it from spinning on us. It's still wanting to turn on us. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is I'll have to get a clamp, and we're going to clamp this on tight, and we'll bring you back on and do that. All right, got the clamp on there, and now we're going to tighten it down. Now it's tightening down like it should. There we go. Now it's tightened down like we should. And you just make sure you line up your, you gotta find where your hole is to finish it up here. That'll be it. Then we'll put our cotter key in there. We'll put one up here. And then we'll bring you back on.
Bring the tie rod over.
Alright, here we go. We're gonna be putting this back together. I got the cotter keys in there. So that's not going nowhere. Before we do this, we need to clean this out. You can see there's a bunch of gunk in there, so best time just to blow it out. Before you shove that piston back in there. Run here. I skipped this. This is changing the back. We're going to change the axle out and the brakes. Now this is a little different than the front because this has got two bolts that go side into here. They go this way and they get bolt and bolt this way. Actually, it's easier to do these than the front. So I like to use the impact to zip these off. There he is. Right off. Watch, we got a nut. I like to put these back on there so we don't lose anything. And the same way with the top. Pull this off. And this is a 14. This end here is a 14 and this is a 17 on the other end. Well, if you need to know that there. 17 on one end and 14 on this end. So my impact socket will be is 14. Okay, there's that. Now you're going to have these come off. and I'll show you what those are and what we're going to do with those. Got these two. Make sure you get those because the tops are different than the bottom ones. Pull that off of there like that. Put it off to the side. Okay, now to get that off of there, to get your you just pull this out. Should be able to just pull this out like that. Pull it right out, and then we'll just slip the new one right back in there. Here's our new one. Just slip it in there. Now you might have to turn a little bit. Make sure you get it in the groove there. There, shove it in. There you go, like that. Take your nut off here. Now this is what I was talking about. This is where these go, right here and here. Now these are greasable, right here and here, so make sure you keep those greased. And we might hit these, since we got it off here, let me show you. We'll hit them, start them. So you might want to grease these, you know, depending on how much you use it, every 6 months, every 3 months, something, you know, just every oil change, maybe something like that. And that'll make your suspension bushings all here last a lot longer. All right, now we're gonna put that in there. There you go. Now if we were changing this bearing out, it would be the same on the rest of that video. It showed how to beat those out of there. Okay, now I got these, which this has got little sealers on it. Those go on the top. These go on the top. If you take it apart and watch what you're doing, you can catch that. But if in case you didn't, I'm telling you now, this has got the little seals on them. Those have the seals too. Popped off there. Those got seals too. Those are with the top. They generally don't stay on like the other ones. Okay, you pick that up. And then pull out with your air. Get all the junk out from around there. And then you want to spray with some WD-40 here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the old one and put it on here. If I can get it in here. And then we're going to squeeze it in. You can use a clamp or whatever. Squeeze that back in. That one a little bit. Let's do it again. We get all the way out here. It works better. You want to squeeze it all the way back in so it'll accommodate the new. There it goes. It's going in there pretty good.
So they're sliding pretty good now?
Yeah, sliding in there.
Good.
All the way in as far as it'll go. Because if not, you ain't going to get those new ones on there. So that's it. All the way in there. That went smooth. So what it's got to do is it's got to push the pressure all the way back up to the reservoir. Your brake fluid's got to go all the way back up. So it takes a little bit. Another thing you need to look at is this here, which this is a little stiff. This here is what moves back and forth with the brakes when they wear. And this one seems a little stiff. So let's pull it out. Kind of put a little pressure over here and let's tap things out. Yeah. You see it here? This one's clean and this one's rusty. So it is, that would add a lot of drag to trying to adjust your brakes and it'll be uneven. So we're going to wire brush this up. We're going to put some WD-40 and some lithium grease in there, a little bit of lithium grease in here, and we put it all back so that'll slide nice and easy. So we'll bring it back on when we get that. All right, well I got that on there. And I got some lithium grease in there. Now you can see this thing slides in and out real smooth. That's a little with it smooth. You don't want it to catch up, so try it, go back and forth a little bit, work it. So if they go together, they go really smooth. So shouldn't have no issue with that binding up. So then we're going to move forward with that. We have this going on here with your tie rod in. It's about like the other ones. You just set them in there. Tap it down. Sets in there nice and tight. I think this one had a washer went on it. So we're going to put the washer on it. Tighten her up. So it's pretty explanatory. Same way, put the little key in. But what I messed up in doing, and you probably were hollering in there saying it, I messed up, which I did. We did not put the axle in. So we're going to have to pull this all back off with the axle in. Oh no! So that's part of working on stuff. So might just put the top one loose, and be able to put our new axle in.
It will go in.
So we shouldn't have no problem. So we'll bring you back on when we get that all accomplished. And we'll show them how to put the back on. It's dawned on me. All right, here we're putting in the axle. Now we got it all back off. So you just slide it in there, get the grip on, push it in. Simple as that. And turn these down to go inside there. And there we are. Like we should have done the first time. Then you just replace this like we've done before. You know, been there? I don't think that's the right one. So we push this down in there. Just tighten it back up like we had it before. Just a repeat of the other one. We just had a short blurb there because we forgot to put the axle in. And that happens. I should have known that was going too easy. So we'll bring it back on when we get to finishing her up. Because you already seen this. You don't want to have to see it again. So we'll bring you back on. Alright, now we're back and got that all back like I showed you. Down in there. Then we're going to put the rotor on here with the nut. And I'll get my impact here. Make sure it's the same size as the other one. Yep, sometimes they're different. Put it on 2. Okay, that's in there. Then what we got to do is you got this little spot right here you got to beat down, and that's the lock. That's what locks it on there. That feels a lot better than it was before. So we're doing good. Now we'll put this back on with our new brakes, which we got them right here. The new brakes go in here. So goes in here like this. You have this one. Goes in there like that. Messed up on it last time, it broke off, so he put a little something different in here. So if that happens too, you can just put you a bolt through there.
Hillbilly style.
Hillbilly style, right? That's make it improvise. Then you put 2 nuts on it, which is like a lock nut, and you can keep a little loose so you don't tighten it up too tight.
They should be 11 millimeter, the wrenches on the floor.
Okay. Right. So before we do that, we're going to go ahead and finish up. Got that on there. I'm going to go ahead and put the 2 bolts in there. As you said, there were the calipers are back here. 2 bolts for the caliper. Right here. On this back side. Sometimes it's better to get the bottom one in first. And then the hinge, the top one will hinge right in where you want it. Let me get my light on here. There it is. Yeah, get it in there. There we go. Got the bottom one in. Just get it going. 2 threads on. And I just drop it. Lost the other bolt. We'll find it. Got this one. Put the top one in. And those are, to take those on off. What were those? You remember?
12s.
12? 12 millimeter to take the brakes off. So if you're replacing the brakes, 12 millimeter. Let's turn this so we get to it. Get this thing going the right way. Tighten them up. Good snug tight fit. Go. All right, well there we go. We got her finished up now. We'll bend this in, tap this in. Show you here.
Oh yeah.
So then we'll tap this in and see that though there. Dent that in so then that thing will not come. That's the locking mechanism. Oh, that is right on it. That's the locking mechanism, so that won't come off. Well, there you go. Now this will be the same kind of setup around, even on the backs. The same kind of setup that's there is on the back of changing it out. Might bring it back on and show you just one little spot about that, but it's more or less the same thing. And putting that axle on as we did the rest, the brakes, is the same thing all the way around. So that's replacing those bearings that we showed on there, replacing the tie rod, new brakes, new axles, and this is the same thing you can do all the way around. It's more or less the same way. That's what's kind of interesting about these, how these are set up. So hoping everybody can help somebody, and this will be the end of this video. So subscribe, push the like button, push the bell so you can get notifications when I bring up different videos. You never know what's going to be on here. It's just a wide variety of things. So everybody, have a good one. Take care.